of our family, I really want to thank everybody for being here. A lot of you have gone out of your way, and our coaches from Permian, and our athletic director, and our former coach here at Crane when I was in school, the guy I got the first job at Permian with Coach Wilkins, and our administration, our principal, and we really appreciate you going to the trouble of being here. Our family has really been blessed by my dad. My mother had a devoted husband for 63 and a half years. My sisters and me, a long time with a loving father, our children and grandchildren. And there's no saying that says that we're all destined to leave some kind of mark. We're all meant to walk a certain path at a certain time in a certain direction for a certain purpose. And I think I can speak for my family. He definitely left a mark on us. He left a mark on me. And every one of these people over here could tell some special stories about my dad, but I'm going to just mention a few that kind of come to my mind. Tim kind of hit on it there a minute ago, but he instilled in us a really keen difference between right and wrong. And there was no gray area with him. I was 8 years older than my oldest sister and 10 years older than my younger sister. I don't know, I don't think they ever got a whipping. Never saw one. And he wore out a lot of belts on me. I really think that he took the biblical approach to me and not them about sparing the rod and spoiling the child. When I was about 10 or 11 years old for Christmas, he bought me a basketball goal and put it up in the driveway. And the rule was, he was working shift work at that time, and the rule was that when he worked all night and came in about 8 o'clock and went to bed, the rule was, don't get that infernal basketball out there and bounce it on that concrete because it wakes me up. So over time, I got in the habit of just going out there and getting the ball and trying to shoot the basketball and catch it as it came out the net. Every now and then, had 2 garage doors there and a basketball goal in the middle. And every once in a while, that old ball would bounce, and it was no rubber ball, and you know how those things ricochet and make a noise. And, I'd catch it best I could. Every now and then it'd bounce again. And so if these were the garage doors and the basketball goal here, I let the ball hit one time, went over to pick it up. That garage door was open, that garage door was shut. And I picked the basketball up, and I felt somebody grab the back of my neck. All he had on was boxer shorts. And pulled me into the garage, and I don't know if he used his fist, his hands, a belt, or what that day, but it was pretty good lesson. You know, he grew up on a farm, and they had 150 acres in Eureka, Texas, and they were pretty self-sufficient. They didn't, you know, what they ate, they grew or raised. And went to school. He milked the cows in the morning. His dad ran the school bus, so he'd have to get up at 5:30 and go milk the cows, get on the school bus with his father, and they'd go around the countryside and picking up kids and get the kids to school by 8 o'clock. And he did that for a long time. And one of his favorite stories was that in the early 40s, their little financial pool dipped pretty low. And his daddy came to him one day and said, Durwood, he said, you're going to have to take the farm this year because I'm going to have to go to Houston and work some construction and make some money. And he took care of the whole farm. He had to lay out a year of school. He was about to be a senior, and he had to lay out that particular year. And he always was proud to tell me that they made the best cotton crop they ever had that year he ran the farm. He made sure I always had a summer job. It might be around the house. It may be he'd find somebody that needed their weeds pulled or the grass cut. When I got old enough to work the oil field, he got me a job, and he really didn't like me having a whole lot of idle time. He was handy. He could do anything that I can't do. I mean, he was elected. You know, they were independent. They, you know, if they had something break on that farm, they had to fix it, or it didn't go. So he was a lot more handy than I was. He could do anything. He could build buildings. He could build storages. He could do electrical. He could do plumbing, and I can't do any of it. And anytime something breaks at our house, Sharon knows to call the plumber, not call me. So, but I really admired him, and I know our family. He's done work for all of us over the years at home, and on cars, and you name it, he's done it. You know, he came from that, what's that generation they call? The greatest generation. You know, and he proudly served the Navy. And when he joined the Navy, he went and took his physical, and he got the date that he was going to report to Houston, I believe is where they reported. But he went in, that morning he woke up, he said he went and milked the cows, and he came back home and told his mother, he said, that's the last cow I ever milked. And I think he held up to it. You know, we went down there a bunch when I was a little kid. I've got great memories of that farm, and going down there in the summer and spending some time and going with them on vacation to see my grandparents. And best I know, I've seen my granddad milk a lot of cows while he was there, but I never saw my dad milk another cow. So I think he was right on. Little things meant a lot to him. You know, being on time, like Tim said, acting right, being respectful, following rules, telling the truth, saying yes or no, sir, yes ma'am and no ma'am. Those were really things that he instilled in us, instilled in me in particular. As Tim said, he loved football. Obviously, he loved to watch our teams play that I was a part of. I played 40 games in college, and I think I counted up the other day, they missed 9 games. And that's pretty wide range. I mean, that goes from Oklahoma, New Mexico. They missed a trip to Kingsville. They missed a trip to Huntsville one time. They missed a trip to Commerce one time. But they made the circuit. They were very supportive. Sisters had to go every time they did. They got tired of it, I know. Mother probably did too. He was really proud of the 2 state championships that Permian won in the 80s. When Coach Wilkins was the head coach in 80, and then when we won it in 89. He was really proud of those teams, and I'd always send him the videotape, and he would watch those things. Mother said it repeatedly, and just really big football fan. He was my biggest fan, but he was also my biggest critic. And when you coach in Odessa, you know you got some critics now. So if he's the biggest critic, that speaks pretty highly. He always said what was on his mind. Luckily, the 5 years we were at ACU, Mom and Dad were living in Abilene at that time, and he and Mom would always meet us down by the field house after the game, and we got beat in the last minute one time, and I knew better than to expect some kind of consolation prize from him, but he first thing he said, "You boys got a long way to go." And he's right, we did. And there was never any, you know, when he told me he loved me the other night, I don't know that wasn't the first time I've ever heard him utter those words. That was something I always knew I was loved, but that wasn't one that love wasn't a word that he really hung out there to a whole lot of times. So I thought that was special, and to be with him when he passed was really it was an emotional moment, but I wasn't crying at the time. It was just kind of a relief, and I can only imagine, you know, what he was seeing at that particular instant. Like I said, everybody has their stories about their folks, and I feel very, very blessed to have had a mother and a father like we had. Lisa just wants to come up and say something really quick. She promised it'd be short.
I'm not sure how it'll sound after talking after Gary. Last night I just kept getting this feeling that I should say something. My family and I aren't good with sharing our feelings, and but if there's one thing I've been told my whole life, it's how great of a man Granddaddy is. I've been told time and time again what a great father and friend he really has been. I hope that it's okay that I share this short story. My dad and I sat back there last night and he shared this with me. He said that he walked up to Granddaddy and said, "I really want to adopt you as my own father." Granddaddy's response was, "Well, all right, but you better straighten up." So let's not forget his sense of humor and his little remarks that he would make that when we would least expect them. Loving relationships continue beyond the doors of death and judgment. I know that we'll be able to reunite with Granddaddy one day, and what a great day that will be. I believe he'll be able to say, as Paul said, "The time of my departure is at hand. I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith." And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ.